Now, a reminder of the big breaking news. Manchester United have made an official bid worth just under £74 million to RB Leipzig for striker Benjamin Šeško. The fee is an initial £65 million plus around £8.9 million in performance-related add-ons. We're going to go to Keith Downey, who is still at the Newcastle United training ground and joins us live now. Keith, what can you tell us? What does this fresh bid mean and the knock-on for Newcastle?
Yeah, well, I've been saying all day, really, haven't I, that Newcastle, I think, have been internally a little bit concerned that Manchester United come to the table and then Benjamin Šeško potentially favours a move to Manchester United. And as you rightly say, Julia, that offer was made by Manchester United, totalling €85 million. So €75 million up front plus €10 million in performance-related add-ons, which is actually short of Newcastle's offer that was made last night. Newcastle offering around about £5 million more, £80 million up front with £10 million in performance-related add-ons. So as it stands, Newcastle have offered a little bit more up front and a little bit more in total, but Manchester United have come to the table, and one source continues to maintain to us that the player favours a move to Manchester United. We're told that he's open to both moves, and it's not that he's against a move to Newcastle United, but if it came to a choice between the two, according to this one source, Manchester United would be the choice. Now remember, we have yet to hear back from Leipzig as to whether they've accepted Newcastle's 80 plus €10 million offer last night, and of course we are yet to hear if they have to accept this one from Manchester United as well, but it would be surprising if they accept a lower bid and not the higher one from Newcastle United that was made last night. So it's all becoming a bit of a confusing situation, but I think internally here in Newcastle they were given some encouragement in the last 24 hours that the player would be up for moving to Newcastle, but there was also that concern that perhaps that was just to smoke out the formality from Manchester United to stoke out that interest with a formal bid, and it looks as though that is what has happened today, and it feels from certainly the noises that we're hearing that Leipzig will leave it up to the player to decide. So look, we've not heard the last of this one. I think there'll still be a bit more negotiating to come. But Newcastle, I told you about an hour ago, were the only club at the table for Benjamin Šeško. Now Manchester United have followed up that interest with a formal bid of their own. And while it doesn't quite match Newcastle United, it feels like it leaves the player with a decision to make.
Yeah, and as you say, a big one for Šeško to make Newcastle or Manchester United. How much of a blow, Keith, would it be for Newcastle if they do miss out on another key target this window?
Yeah, look, it would be a hammer blow for Newcastle. It's been a bit of a disaster transfer window for them. There's a long list of players that they've got quite far down in terms of negotiations with, only to find that they choose to go elsewhere. You know, I can go through them all. Hugo Ekitike, who of course gone to Liverpool, João Pedro went to Chelsea, Liam Delap went to Chelsea. Manchester United themselves have already taken Bryan Mbeumo. Newcastle thought they had a chance there. Dean Howson, the Bournemouth central defender, went to Real Madrid. There's a number of players who Newcastle felt they had a chance of signing but have gone elsewhere. The fact they've got to this stage with Cesco, and it's a player that they've admired for a long time, and it feels as though the options available to Newcastle in that striking department are getting less and less. This one will really hurt if he goes to Manchester United instead, because the Man United front three next season of Cunha, Mbeumo and potentially Sesko, if he makes the move, would be a front three that Newcastle would have loved to have had. So look, it's been a really, really difficult window, but look, it's still alive. Newcastle's offer remains on the table. It's not been rejected. Neither has Manchester United, and I'll say it again, Newcastle's offer is more. So that just adds another layer of intrigue to this ever-developing story.
The Benjamin Šeško transfer saga has taken a major twist, and it might just be heading for a dramatic conclusion. One of the UK's top bookmakers has now suspended all bets on where the Slovenian striker will land this summer, after Manchester United finally made their move. According to reports, United have tabled a £73.8 million package to RB Leipzig, an initial £65.1 million, with a further £8.7 million in add-ons. It's just below Newcastle's improved £78.2 million offer earlier in the week, but the noise around United is growing louder by the hour. With the market closed and Betfair pulling all odds for Cesco to join either United or Newcastle, it's clear something's brewing. Bookies spokesperson Sam Rosbottom summed it up: United were odds-on favourites at 8/15 to sign Cesco on Monday. Now, betting is suspended. That usually says it all. United, who've already added Bryan Mbeumo and Matheus Cunha to strengthen their front line, are pushing hard to land a proper number 9. With Rasmus Højlund expected to leave if the deal goes through, the move for Cesco feels like the final piece. Leipzig haven't responded to the bid yet, but the decision may ultimately rest with the player. Cesco is now weighing up his options, discussing next steps with the club and his agent, Elvis Bosanovic. And while Newcastle made the first move, twice, it's United's bid that now feels decisive. They're banking on the striker's desire to play at Old Trafford. And even though the financial package might be slightly behind Newcastle's, United believe their offer reflects fair value, and they're hopeful the pull of the badge will tip things in their favour. It hasn't been smooth sailing in the striker department for United this summer. Top target Liam Delap chose Chelsea. Hugo Ekitike went to Liverpool. Victor Gyökeres? Snapped up by Arsenal. Now it's all in for Benjamin Šeško, and he's been their top pick ahead of other options like Ollie Watkins. With the new season just around the corner, the pressure's on. Cesco is expected to train separately today as discussions continue, and while Leipzig haven't set a firm deadline, there's an informal agreement that they'd let him leave if the right package and the right club come calling. Newcastle, for their part, still want Cesco, especially with Alexander Isak pushing for a move to Liverpool. The Reds had a £110 million bid turned down, but they're expected to return once Newcastle secure a replacement. If they miss out on Cesco, PSG's Goncalo Ramos is among the backup options being considered. Behind the scenes, United's push is being driven by Director of Recruitment Christopher Vivell, a man who knows Cesco well from their time at RB Salzburg. Vivell's made no secret of his belief in the 6 feet 4 inches striker's potential, describing him as a future world-class talent. Manager Ruben Amorim is also fully on board, even after adding both Mbeumo and Cunha. It's clear, Cesco is the priority. The 22-year-old bagged 21 goals last season and has racked up 39 goals and 8 assists in 87 appearances for Leipzig since joining in 2023. Arsenal had him on their radar for weeks too, but ultimately pivoted to Gyökeres. And finally, United CEO Omar Barada confirmed in Atlanta that the club is going full throttle to strengthen the squad before the window slams shut. "We're working around the clock," he said. "There's a lot of multitasking, a lot of late night and early morning calls. But what we want is simple, to win, and to win now." They've already spent over £130 million. But if Cesco signs? That could be the striker United fans have been waiting for.